Ladies and gentlemen, head coach Troy G. Ward.
Troy, talk about how the special teams affected today's game. It was another close one until the end, but it just had a different feel, like you guys were in the driver's seat a little more.
Well, we had a better emotional response to the game for sure. Like, we were obviously involved in the game, I thought, from start to finish. I thought that was the biggest difference. I thought we did some things offensively with the puck better. Like, made some changes from yesterday's game a little bit. Some things we wanted to do yesterday we just didn't do very well. Maybe because of just our emotional attachment. But today we were, and we did some good things. At times I felt we were in control of the game. And, like any game at this level, you're going to feel there's times when you're not. But I thought that the other part of our game that was better is we had better shift consistency. Like, we didn't have a lot of holes. We had a couple of lapses here or there, but in general that was better. Made a difference.
You find that having Yoni playing so well back there, the guys are able to push a little harder. Like, he had another solid game, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're obviously very confident with Yoni in there. He's very confident. So things like that of that nature they're kind of working for us in a lot of ways. Like, we feel that if we are out of position and we're not in a proper posture that we would like to be in defensively, we feel like he's had our back most of the year. And obviously by record and by the saves he's making, he is. I thought he had another strong performance. I don't know if he was a star, but he should have been. I thought, he had to make some critical saves at critical times.
Ben Street got that big second period goal. Do you think that kind of gave your team the momentum going into the third period?
Well, I would say most definitely in more ways than one. I think, number one, it was, even though at times we talked about just being in control of ourselves and control of our game relative to our posture, but, when you're battling on the road, winning 2 at home is difficult because we play a lot different than the rest of the American League. We have back-to-back home games. It's kind of like college hockey. You play Friday, Saturday at home, and it's tough to win 2 games in a row. And so, when you need a little different things to happen at magical moments to secure wins at home, and like when the goal you score, any goal you score under the last 2.5 minutes for you is a real positive thing, whether you're on home or on the road. But for sure at home for us, and we can't give them up like we did the weekend prior to that against Utica. Like, we gave up some goals at some really critical times. So that's been the difference in this weekend. I thought the goals were at critical times, and who better to get it? Ben Street seems to be the guy.
Last night you switched up some of the lines. You put Juris, Reinhardt, and Street together. What did you like about those 3 guys working together?
Well, to be honest with you, their math was in favor of playing together. Like, I chart everybody who scores and who doesn't, who's together, and how we play. And so we do a lot of stats that'll back some support of certain lines. I just felt that going into the weekend, they had some games together, but they have gotten a lot, but they hadn't given up much. And so we'd had the weekend before Furlan with Street and Juris, and that line got us some, but they gave up some. So we just made a change in chemistry there, and it seemed to work. It was nice to have Rhino back, obviously, from up top. So, it was more of a gut and some statistical evidence that said that they were going to be a good line.
Banks wasn't in the lineup today. What's his status?
Banks he's out. He's just under surveillance, so to speak. He's got a really stiff neck. I think he feels really good. His neck is really, really sore from that hit. And so, he's day-to-day right now, but no push at this point in time. We're not in any hurry. So we brought in Conley from the East Coast League today, and we switched out Civic. Civic left. So, when we're at this position where we're afforded to look at players in the organization from Alaska, we'll bring them in, see what they can do. And, Conley got some shifts here and there. He didn't land until like 2 o'clock today in Vancouver and took a car ride here and then got dressed basically and played. So flying all the way from Utah today was a long day for that guy, but thought he did a nice job.
What kind of player is Connolly, and how does he fit into your lineup there?
Well, the one thing about Conley is he's a heart and soul type guy. He's one of the leaders in Alaska. He's a player that they acquired in a trade from Greenville last year in the East Coast League. He's a 20-goal scorer in the Coast. He's just a gritty forward that plays with a lot of energy. He's got to learn our terminology and how we play and things like that. So this is an opportunity that we'll have on Monday and Tuesday and tomorrow to spend some time with him and get him ready to go, hopefully for Wednesday and Thursday if things don't change. By that I mean up top. If they don't send any players down, then we'll continue to look at them.
Last question.
Ben Street's really taken a step forward this season. What differences have you noticed in his game?
Well, I think the word I would use is he's just a complete player. He's a complete player, and when you watch our game out there, like if you use the word man, like who looks like a real man out there, Ben looks like a man compared to the rest. And I mean that in a way of posture, is shift-to-shift consistency. And he's just as good with the puck as he is without it. We have other players here that are really good with it at this particular time, but they're not so dynamic without it. And that's a checking thing. It's a lot of defensive detail. But that's Ben. I mean, Ben a year ago didn't score as much, but we really worked on his defensive game. And that's really a big part of the American Hockey League is there's a lot of developing going on. You have odd games where as fans we want to see certain guys score. Like we hoping Ferland scores. Well, Ferland's working on a lot of checking things right now too, and he's working on consistency. So scoring is not the utmost importance. And that's kind of was the way it was last year when Ben came to us. Like we felt that he could score. He had 60-some points in Wilkes-Barre, but there were parts of his defensive game that weren't very good. So we worked real hard on it, and this year he's a complete player. He's really good defensively, and he's really good offensively, and he's playing a 200-foot game versus we have other guys that just play in certain zones. Like you'll notice him all the time in certain areas. Ben, you notice all over the rink.
How much fun is it right now being a part of this team with quite a bit of winning going on?
Well, it's been really fun. What makes it fun, no matter what you're doing, whether you're winning or losing, the people you share your moments with. They're just a good group of guys. Like we could be losing and have the opposite record, and I'd still be a happy guy. Like I think we're developing. I think that our staff is lucky, both coaching staff and support staff. We've got a great group of guys, and that's the even keeledness is one of their biggest strengths as a team. They're never too high and they're never too low. And they're that way, and they go to work every day, and they do what they're told, and they ask a lot of questions. We involve them in the process of their development, and they're just a good group to be with. Like they're really, most importantly, they're just good people, you know. So there's a lot of good days ahead for all of them. So, like I said, winning or losing makes a difference, obviously, but it really wouldn't. I'd still be a happy guy. This is a good group.
Great. Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.